Well, the humanitarian organization Human Rights Watch is calling on the United Nations to impose sanctions on the Bashar Al-Assad regime in Syria.
One America's Trey Yingst has more from Washington.
The organization Human Rights Watch is calling on the United Nations this week to impose sanctions on the Syrian government for their use of chemical weapons. In a letter addressed to the UN Security Council, the humanitarian group outlined the need for accountability in the Syrian civil war. In the past 5 years, more than 400,000 people have been killed in the conflict, a number of them by chemical weapons. While the State Department wouldn't comment directly on the call to action by Human Rights Watch, they reiterated the importance of accountability for the Assad regime.
The organization Human Rights Watch is calling on the UN Security Council to impose further sanctions on the government of Syria. Is this something that the State Department supports?
I would just say that we're aware of the reports of that, and I'd have to refer you to the UN specifically.
And then follow up, how important is it to hold the Assad regime accountable for the use of chemical weapons in Syria? Obviously,
the international community did and I think remains committed to limiting or effectively trying to pressure the Assad regime to stop using chemical materials as weapons.
George Landreth is the president of Frontiers of Freedom. He says that if the United Nations pushes forward with the suggested sanctions, it would put pressure on Bashar al-Assad to reduce the number of chemical attacks.
These are sanctions. In other words, it doesn't really require a military commitment. It just requires some backbone to say this is wrong, we oppose it, and we're going to impose some cost on you for this behavior. That strikes me as a bare minimum. I don't understand why that's not an easy decision, because right now he gets to do it for free. And it helps him dominate a populace that's not being cooperative with his whims. And this is a way to cow them and control them in a very vicious and disgusting way. And he does it cost free. If we were to impose some costs, he might do it less.
One American News reached out to the United Nations for comment, who said, quote, "The matter is with the Security Council, who will decide what the next step should be." From Washington, Trey Yingst, One American News.